What's going on, my people? This is the Hidden Wisdom Podcast, episode number 1, yeah? Introduction and the welcome to anybody who's coming in, anybody who's locked in right now, anybody around the world who's listening to me speak and listening to this channel. I just want to give you a warm welcome, yeah, to kick this off. Now, just letting everybody know that this first episode is just going to be a little bit of a background of who we are, like who I am. I'm the host and whatnot. Just a bit about my own journey. Also kind of just giving you guys just giving you an introduction really on this project that I've called Hidden Wisdom. Now, I've gone through many life experiences, in the past couple of years where, I was kind of living as people would say, the standard Western lifestyle, standard Western diet, standard Western fucking mindset and all this shit for many, 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 many years. Yeah. Like I'm in my late 20s right now. Yeah. But yeah, like most people, I was living in this bubble, right? This like severe indoctrination, that the West gives us about what reality is, what life is actually about. And, I was quite stupid. I was very vulnerable. I was quite naive. And I just kind of believed what every single person told me. If they were older than me, I just absorbed it. I just accepted it. That's just how life is. Everything at school, what they were teaching me, I just accepted it. Everything, like even the medical community, what they say, I just believed it as it was the gospel truth. And the thing is, the reason why I did that deep down in my soul and shit, like I was kind of like, fuck, man, like everybody else around me is accepting this as the ultimate truth in it. So that's just where I was at. I was kind of at this thing where everybody else around me was blindly just fucking believing what everyone was telling them in all aspects of life. And yeah, I mean, for many years, I'll say about 24, 25 years or something, I just went along with it. And in that process, like I said earlier, I was living this typical Western lifestyle, just indulging in temporary pleasure, just loading myself up with junk food, just any chance I could get, I would be eating a load of shit like McDonald's, KFC. The thing is with me as well, like I've always stayed quite lean. I could eat anything I fucking wanted to, and people would get jealous of me. Certain girls would get, like, girls that I would go out with would sit on a date with me and say, "How the fuck are you eating all of that, but you never gain any weight?" So that's just an idea. Like other people used to, like people in my family, like older people used to say, "Oh, don't worry, he's okay. He can eat anything he wants." And then I just used to believe it because certain people were obese. They were always checking, but that never happened for me. So I was just like, cool, like I can just do what the fuck I want. I was just the lucky one, as I thought. So yeah, man, I kind of went through life just eating the wrong shit. And got a few hints and warnings over the years. Little small things were happening, like little tiny bits of eczema here and there in places that I could easily cover it up and whatnot. Some health conditions, like things to do with like my gums and stuff like that. But it was always something that could be quickly masked with creams or mouthwashes, or it just could always be masked by something that either the pharmaceutical company or corporate companies who were selling these mouthwashes and this particular toothpaste or whatever. Like it was always something to mask it. It would never cure the problem. And the thing is, because it was easily, I could easily cover these things up and mask the symptoms, I just carried on, not really diving too deep into health and well-being. And there was a time where I was drinking quite heavily, like I was going through a lot of shit, and just started binge drinking out of nowhere. I was deeply unhappy in my life. I wasn't fulfilled. My life was just full up of, like I said, just eating junk food, indulging in temporary pleasure. Like every time I would binge drink, it was like all my problems would go away temporarily. Then obviously the next day and shit, everybody knows how it is, you feel fucked. You can't even get out of the fucking bed, and you can't even remember the fucking night that you spent out with your friend. You don't even know what happened. And so yeah, man, like, just indulging in sex and just indulging in smoking cigarettes all the time, like, all these things I was just doing recklessly, because I thought that because it didn't physically show on the outside, that it was all cool and shit. Like it's fine. I was, like I said, I was just one of the lucky ones. But deep down there was a void that just wasn't being fulfilled. Like there was something that was missing in my life. Like I was doing all of this shit, all this temporary stuff, all this sugary foods, all of this junk food, all these burgers, all these motherfucking chicken wings, all this shit, all this fried food that I just completely indulge in. And I'm my ethnic background is of Asian descent, right? So even in my culture, there's a lot of fried foods, there's a lot of emphasis on sweet foods. So I just completely went into that. Now, fast forward to around about 24, 25. Now, this is when I had this is what this channel is basically based on, right? Like, I've always been a kind of consciously aware person since I was very young. I've always been a creative person as well. And to a certain extent, I always kind of flirted with the idea of religion and spirituality and all these things, but I never fucking like took the plunge. I never went into it and practiced it. Like, I always had voices of other people telling me religion is wrong, religion is backwards, spirituality is wrong, it's just hippies, don't smoke weed, don't do this, don't do that, don't get it. So all these things that I was naturally inclined to moving towards, all these motherfuckers were like, don't do it. And they were adults as well. They were older than me. I thought, yo, they got more life experience. They're telling me this is dangerous. Maybe don't. But then I would always, in my own time, on my own, I would always be researching, reading books. I'd always be so fascinated by these things, but never like outwardly express it. I would never practice it, And even with health and nutrition, there was a time period, around about, I would say 2011, 2012. So it was a strange year of my life, because things were kind of moving up for me for that year. And I was getting paid. I was in a job that I really didn't mind. It wasn't something that was my true passion, but I didn't mind it. It made me some money, so I was happy. And then I would pursue my passion afterwards. And that year I had a calling towards health and nutrition. I just was so fascinated by it. And but I never went too deep into it. I would always just read what the Western books, and even that was fascinating to me, because I just had an interest in what vitamins and minerals and all these things, the organs of the body. Like, I was so fascinated by it. And I was doing exercise regularly. I was running. I really found a lot of fulfillment in just something like this. Is when I kind of just stopped alcohol and drinking and leaving toxic environments, and just kind of working on my own shit, just doing a lot of personal development, working on my goals. I was, like I said, I was doing running, I was doing swimming, a little bit of weightlifting here and there. Started participating in marathons and stuff like it. That particular year of my life was really interesting, and just because it was moving in the right direction, I felt like I wanted to do the exercise. I started to eat healthy. I started to move towards a more paleo diet, and I was still being stupid. I was still smoking weed. I was still eating sugary foods, and I was still doing that, but it was of a less of an extent. I wasn't doing it all the time, and I was focusing on preparing meals at home. And I was going in the right direction, basically, but yeah. So, and then things started going downhill. Certain things were happening in my life where I wasn't in the greatest of mental clarity, I could say, right? So fucking yeah, man, like, kind of just started going back into old habits, started to wreck my health more and more and more. And then next thing you know, I'm back to where I started, right? I was around people as well who were just constantly eating junk food, and you are the company you fucking keep at the end of the day. I really believe in that shit. I honestly believe in that. I feel like whoever you're around, you start picking up on their habits, you start behaving like them, you start thinking it's okay. If they don't care about their health, they want to wreck their body, you're around these people all the time, you're going to start thinking like that. And it's proof, you know, I had that experience myself, and I started behaving like them. I started not caring about my health, started doing all this stupid shit and neglecting my health and whatever. But yeah, fast forward, I know that was quite long-winded, but fast forward to about 2015. You know, I was about 24 years old. um and yeah, it just started to, out of nowhere, this at this point I was working like a night shift job, you know, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., just completely wrecking my health. And just that year just kind of just destroyed my body, because I did it for about a year, right? And just before like I started that year, I developed like a lot of acne on my back, which yeah, I mean, it was really painful, to the point where every time I tried to even sit down, it would actually hurt me, like it would burn almost. And yeah, it just got to the point where I was like, fuck this, man. Like, I don't know what is going on, but it's like the natural, you know, inclination, the natural reaction that we have in the West, that we've been programmed, that fucking doctors are like God themselves, you know. So I went to the doctors, you know, as you do. Went there, and yeah, like she just prescribed me about a 3 month course of antibiotics. I think it was called limacycline, which is like a tetracycline type of antibiotics, if you're interested in looking that up. But yeah, that I she gave me a 3 month course, and I said, fuck it, you know, I'm gonna do it, because obviously at that point I still trusted the doctors. I still thought, you know, these motherfuckers are there for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're there for me. They're rooting for me. They want me to get better. That's what I genuinely thought that. And it's kind of interesting that even in the office that day, when I was sitting in the doctor's office, I said, yo, like, is there something, because deep down I knew, being an ethnic person, I knew, like, isn't there natural methods, like, isn't there this and that? I was talking about natural healing, and she just kind of went off on one, like started shouting at me and telling me, like, you know, I've lost it, you can't eat this many apples, and then it all goes away. She's being really derogatory towards me when I mentioned natural healing. And so obviously it's very fear based. You know, you fear the doctor, you think, you know, they've got all these certificates on the wall, she knows what she's talking about. I don't know anything, I don't know my own body, I don't know, I don't have my own fucking intuition deep down, and all this shit. So fucking yeah, like, ended up taking the shit, and it was a 3 month course, right? So put it in perspective, like, obviously now looking in hindsight, I was completely fucking, like, literally, just, it was like an explosion. It was like a ticking time bomb waiting to happen. I was working nights, stupid hours, 12-hour night shifts, in toxic environments at the same time. I was around horrible people in that year. um so my mental state was just going to shit. um and yeah, now on top of all that, and then junk food eating, and then on top of that shit, I got this motherfucking 3 month course of antibiotics completely fucking up my body. But it didn't even do anything. It didn't, you know, like with most people's experience, it clears everything up for like a couple of months, then it comes back worse. Like, it didn't even do that in my experience. It never did that. It just after 3 months I saw literally no change. Like, it kind of got a little bit worse, but it wasn't even that noticeable, any difference, whether it got worse or not. It just was the same as how it used to be, but I would say just a tiny bit worse. So yeah, went back to the doctor. She prescribed me another 3 months of the same shit, and I fucking took it because, you know, I was so naive. But anyway, I took it. Um, did the 3 months. Didn't really see much benefit, so I kind of tapered off it. I think I did about maybe 1.5 months of it, and kind of then I was taking it here and there. Because before I was taking it religiously, right? Um, and so, but yeah, like, and then time went on. I would say probably after the 6 months, I started to get serious issues. Now we're talking serious gut issues where I couldn't have proper bowel movements. Um, I was having like chronic diarrhea, and I was having these like sharp stabbing pains in my stomach. Um, and I just never had these problems before, and they just randomly showed up. And I couldn't equate it to um, the antibiotics at the time, because there's like a time lag of the side effects, right? So this had been about 3 months after all this thing with the medications. Like I completely went off it. It'd been 3 months, and I was just doing my thing. I was carrying on with life. I still looked okay. I was still carrying on. I thought, hey, I got out of that job and just started like, I got out of that job, got out of that lifestyle, and things were kind of moving up for me all of a sudden. Excuse me. Things were kind of moving up for me. And then all of a sudden, yeah, I started getting all these problems. And I was like, fuck, like, what is going on? Sharp, stabbing fucking pains in my stomach. Like, it was like one of the worst. I felt like my body was literally just breaking apart. Like it was just falling apart in front of my eyes. And I was back and forth to the emergency room and shit, like, thinking that I didn't even know what it was, like, because it was happening. I had this thing in like inside of me that I'll just go to the A&E. They gave me some painkillers and shit. They couldn't identify anything, and it just got to the point where they left me in a room for like 4 or 5 hours. And I was like, man, fuck this. Like, waiting for a doctor. Like, they couldn't even diagnose me with anything. I was like, yo, I just literally got up and I walked out there, and I was like, fuck this. Because I think after I slept for a while, the pain suddenly subsided. And obviously, they gave me a lot of painkillers and stuff as well. So that kind of masked the symptom of it going away. Then it was like, yeah, it went away for like a little bit. Then I was like, woo, I'm back to normal now. Started going back to junk food. Started like, I didn't listen to the warning signs that my body was giving me, now looking back. Um, but yeah, like, and started eating junk food again. Then in a short space of time, I started getting it in the middle of the night. I started getting really bad stomach cramps, the same thing. And it started becoming more frequent, and then I started getting really freaked out. Like, I was in excruciating pain from what was going on. And uh it was just really, I was just in a lot of pain for hours. And I would just try and sleep it off. um and then it got to the point where suddenly my hair started to thin, and I started developing more symptoms like sharp stabbing pains in my fingers. I started getting arthritis in my fingers, in my toes. Like, really just felt like these problems, I've never had them in my entire life. And I was just thinking, what the fuck is going on? Like, I was literally scared in my being in my own body, like being in my own skin felt like this huge challenge all of a sudden. It was really strange, and I was in a lot of pain. And obviously now my physical appearance is um getting destroyed as well in front of me. And it was like every time I would have a shower, like just clumps of hair would just fall off my head. And I was just like, whoa, what the fuck? That's when I started to pay attention. I know it's a bit vain, but that's my fucking journey, innit? Like, that's my shit. That's what ended up happening to me. And I remember I booked a private, and then obviously, like, yeah, after the hair thinning and those kind of symptoms with the arthritis, then I started developing eczema on my face. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because I've always had like perfect skin, and like I've never even had acne really on my face or anything. And yeah, so I was scared. Really, it was a very I was in a very, very dark place in my life when all of this was going on, because I had no clue. And then the only thing I thought, I ended up booking a private doctor appointment, thinking that a private doctor will know how to heal and solve all my problems. and all I need to do is just book this consultation. I think it was really expensive as well. And I was thinking, yeah, I drove, about an hour away to get to this doctor's appointment, which, because I couldn't get any other appointment on that day, I was just like, no, I have to go to this doctor, because it was a private doctor. He had all these qualifications. I thought, right, I'm gonna go to this guy now, and maybe he will know the answers. So, long story short, because I'm trying, this is such a long-winded, this is like such a huge story that I'm trying to fucking put into like little segments, but there was just, I'm trying to miss out. There's a lot of detail that I'm not purposefully, I'm purposefully missing out. It's important, but I'm trying to cut to the chase here, so please bear with me. And obviously this is the first like podcast that I'm trying to do as well, isn't it? So just cut me some slack. I know that I'm waffling a lot, but yeah. So anyway, go to the doctor's office. He tells me, long story short, it's got nothing to do with the medications I took. He was patronizing me as well, telling me it's all in my head. There's just a little bit of problem. It's all gonna go away in 6 months. Just don't worry about it. It'll all disappear. Here's some steroid cream prescriptions you can take to just mask the symptoms until it all goes away, and all this bullshit. I fucking, in my head, when I left that fucking guy's office, he was like really hurrying as well to get me the fuck up out of there. Like, I literally spent about 200-300 pounds for 5 minutes, and he was literally just took one look and then tried to get me out of it, trying to comfort me and trying to patronize me. And I was like, hold on a minute, this guy is taking me for a fucking prick. This guy is taking me for some fucking idiot. Yeah, when I left that office, my heart sank. I knew that no one out there in the world gives a fuck about me. I literally felt so alone at that point, because my body was falling apart in front of me. I had never ever been in this situation ever. I've never dealt with these health, I've never had these problems ever in my life, and they all show up in full fucking force right in front of me. And it was like I had all these demons all of a sudden to battle with, and it was just like I was so consumed in the medical industry that they were going to save me. And when they told me, here's some cream that's going to solve all my problems, I thought, what the fuck? I got all these fucking internal problems, and you're giving me some fucking stupid cream, telling me don't worry. That's when I realized that these people, these doctors, they don't know shit. They don't know anything. And I walked out of that bitch thinking, yo, I'm on my own. And that's when my journey to health and well-being, emotional healing, spiritual personal development, religious development, this is when the journey started. This was the spark that created this entire journey, which I'm basing this channel off. And I said this story to you guys because I want you to understand where I'm coming from. I want you to understand the frame of mind that I speak from when I deliver these lectures, and when I speak my truth, and when I speak my mind in these podcasts. I might use some foul language, I might get passionate, I might get fired up sometimes, but that's just, I said to myself that, you know what, what's it been, two and a bit years or something since 2015, the end of 2015, I had these problems, and I've been on a journey since then, and I can safely say that I'm at a point now, I'm not 100% healed, I'm not 100% in perfect health right now. I would say I'm a good 70-80% on the way there. A lot of problems I had have disappeared since I started to take this journey and say to myself, fuck everyone else, I'm gonna heal. I care about me, so I'm gonna fucking heal me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be the one who heals me. I didn't really know this at the time, obviously, when I left that office. All I knew is that I've got connection to the internet, and I'm gonna research every single day for hours upon hours until I get to the fucking root cause of my issues. And yeah, this is what my story is. This is my story. It's been one hell of a journey. My journey is still continuing to this day, but I feel like I've got to a certain point in my life where things are improving. I have experienced many things in various aspects of my life, which I think could really benefit and help people. This podcast here is to help people who are lost in this life. They might be awakened spiritually, might be religiously bound, might be awakened basically, and they're in the middle of all of these masses of people who are going in a complete opposite way of life, who are trying to drag you down with them as well. But because you don't have a strong network, a strong tribe that you can kind of check in on, you can speak to on a daily basis, because you don't have that, and I didn't have that at the time. I didn't know shit. I didn't have anybody who was into anything to do with health. People thought I was losing my mind. I didn't have a community there to help me on this journey. And I just feel like, at the end of the day, I might be tripping, yeah, but like the way I see it, someone right now might be in that situation where they're not just going to trust the doctor anymore. They've had enough. They've given up. They're ready to fire that motherfucker. They're ready to take their health into their own motherfucking hands. And they might be leaving that doctor's office right now as I speak. They might be leaving that bastard's office saying, shit, I'm on my own here. The doctor's actually giving me all these problems. It's time now that I need to sort. I don't know where to start, but I know. And just having that intention, just having the intention there that I'm taking my health into my own hands. I feel like this podcast, even if I just help one person, they might not need to spend the 3 years, 3 years that I spent to get to the place that I'm at right now. They might be able to sort their health problems out in fucking 4 months. They might be able to hear this knowledge and say, shit, this podcast actually helped me better my life, and that's what I want for people. And I want to help people, not just health-wise as well. I want to help people in terms of spiritual development. I'm just starting these things, I've kind of just walked into the door of all these things. I'm only talking from my own experience. I'm not reading some shit online and fucking regurgitating information. I'm talking about, yes, I've read shit online. Yes, I've researched. Yes, I've read so many books. I've read so much shit out there that I have actually practiced it now. I've gone through certain things where it's like, yo, I've got experience. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've gone through these things. I haven't just read stuff on books. I haven't just read stuff and just telling you guys, yeah, do this. I've done this shit myself, and I can, hand on heart, I can tell you certain things work. Do you know what I mean? And this is on, like I said, health is obviously, I'm very passionate about health. I've seen my health slip away in front of me. I've seen my health just deteriorating. I've been in a place of, suicidal thoughts. Like literally, I was in a place, the very dark place, where I thought I had no control over my health. I'm very passionate in getting people from that state, because I know people are in that state right now, especially if you're dealing with physical things. Like when you're going through things like eczema and stuff, people don't understand. People don't get what you're going through. People don't understand the shit that you have to deal with on a daily basis. And all I'm saying is, I'm here for you. I know what the fuck you're going through. I want to empower you. Do you know what I'm saying? I want to get you from A to B. Do you know what I'm saying? I want to uplift you. I want to teach you these things that I've implemented in my life that can help you on this healing journey. It's just, you have to set that intention. You have to want to heal. You getting your health back, mental health, physical health, whether you're trying to aim for success in whatever you're passionate about, whether you're trying to have an exercise regime and stick to that, whatever personal development you're trying to do, spirituality, religion, health, well-being, personal development, anything you're trying to do, you need to set the right intention, and you need to put the hard work into this. Because I tell you one thing, in my experience, you ain't gonna get nowhere without putting hard work into shit, and especially with your health. healing is easy, man. Like the fucking techniques I'm learning, it's very simple to understand when you actually get the real knowledge. However, the hard work, the consistency, being persistent, even when things don't are not seeming like they're getting better, be getting through that, walking through that hell, and having faith in the journey and in the creator, and just saying, yo, like, I'm good. I'm doing this. Like, I don't care. And just not caring about others' opinions. Like, it really takes a strong mindset that I never had. I was looking for quick fixes. I was looking for quick supplements. I was still in that paradigm of I just need to pop some fucking pills. And whether that be fucking pharmaceutical medications or the motherfucking supplements that they're ramming down your throat and pushing that in your face, I just feel like motherfuckers need to know that you need to work hard on get. I'm not trying to sell you some fucking dream. I'm not trying to this podcast here is not about selling people a bunch of lies so I can make some quick ebooks and sell some shit to you and make some money. This is not that. I'm gonna be fucking real. Hear the passion, hear the fire in my fucking voice right now. I want this platform to fucking help people who were in a broken state like I was, because yes, health wise, physically, I was fucked. But I'm telling you that mentally, all these health problems wouldn't have started if mentally I was in a sound state of mind. If I had clarity in my life, you know? And it's a holistic approach. And yeah, that's what I wanted to throw out there. That I've seen a lot of health channels. I've seen a lot of I've bought into a lot of other people's shit. I've bought into getting consultations with people, and they're trying to push me supplements, their own supplements, and they're selling. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you don't have major health problems, I can kind of understand. But at the end of the day, I'm looking into things like regenerative detoxification, which is something that is promoted by a doctor called Dr. Morse online, that I've recently come into. I've actually come across his channel and be like watching a lot of his videos. I've been speaking to a community of people who are in his kind of teachings, and it's very simple stuff. I've seen it create dramatic changes in my own life in a very short period of time. And so I want to just help people. I want to inspire people, and just to get their life back. You know, I'm on a journey. I'm not perfect, but I feel like I've just started to get my shit together, and I just want other people to come onto this journey with me. You know, I'm not better than anyone. There's people who are way better than me, but I just feel like in my real life as well, there's not a lot of people that are into real personal development. There's no people that are really into improving their lives on an extreme level. I'm so fascinated by personal development. I'm so fascinated by cutting people out of my life that no longer, just generally, I just want to I want to work and build on so many different things. I want to live an amazing life. And I just feel like there's many uninspired people around me, and the people who do want to live a good life and they want success and all these things are doing it for the wrong reasons, with the wrong intention. They're not here for longevity. They're not here for the long run. They're not here to inspire. They're not here to create a legacy. They're here for some bullshit reasons: money, impressing people, all these superficial things that I feel like this channel, we're trying to get away from that shit. And I just want to attract the right people towards me. I want to build a community of people who think alike, who are into all these things that we're trying to promote on this channel, so that, like I said, we can build a community, we can engage in some discourse, we can engage in some debates, we can talk, we can network, we can build a foundation. And things like Facebook pages and things like that, we can start creating discussions, creating debates. I'm gonna get all this shit sorted out, man. I want everyone to start engaging. I want everyone to be drawn to this, and that's my vision for the channel. I've been in that alone place where You know, there's not many conscious people around me, and there are a lot of fake conscious people as well, but I'm talking about real consciousness, which I'm going to get to into in some of my later lectures and some of my later stuff that I will explain further what I mean. But really conscious individuals, like, I just feel like I want to attract that kind of vibe towards me, that energy. And so yeah, you know, I know there's a lot of people out there that probably felt the same way as me, and so this is dedicated to you. So yeah, you know, I hope you guys understand the introduction. I know that was very long-winded, but shit, that's the first episode for you guys. I'm gonna cut everything right there. I hope every single one of you who are listening has an amazing day, and hit that subscribe button, man. Follow my shit, and you're gonna get some good quality information. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.